Welcome, my girls. This is the first episode that I am going to be doing in my podcast, and it's called Way Street. I've changed the name. This is the third time. My poor daughter has had to change my Instagram 3 times. But after much searching and praying, I feel that Way Street is the best title for this podcast that I'm doing for all my precious ladies out there to be able to share life experiences and situations that we all go through and how we can make it through with our beautiful God who is always for us and never against us. So welcome and thank you for joining me today, and we're gonna get started. Today we're going to talk about our heart, and our heart is like a home. We live there, we feel there, we dream there, and we hide there. Most homes, usually the ones up north, have a basement. Just about every home that I know of has an attic, or if you're lucky you have a garage. I sure do wish I had a garage. I have so much stuff. And these storage areas are not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be if you don't empty it out once in a while. Like most homes, our hearts, the area where we feel, where our actions and our thoughts live, can look real nice on the outside and smell really good too, like our homes. But like most homes, there's always a room that is cluttered, dreary, messy, even dark, since we close the shades so that no one can look in. We don't want any prying eyes looking into our stuff. And it's a room of things we know are there, but don't want to deal with them right now. I believe, my precious ladies, that we are women that have a basement in our heart. We have so many compartments. We're complicated. I'm sure your husbands or your boyfriends or the men in your life will agree. We are complicated creatures, and I admit it. I'm very complicated sometimes. But I believe we all have basements in our hearts, and we need to kind of deal with that. I don't know about you, but my heart has a basement, and I have a whole lot of stuff down there that I need to visit and sort out and perhaps remove. Will you join me? I hope so. I don't want to go down to my basement by myself. A way back, I was watching a scary movie that had a basement scene in it, and there was so much clutter in that basement that the alien that entered there could not be seen. You couldn't even find the closet. And in the movie, a very courageous lady, was going down the stairs to see what the noise was that she was hearing. Don't you just hate when the light bulb has to be turned on at the end of the staircase? Well, this house was like that. I probably, would have stumbled and gracefully tumbled down the stairs, awaken the alien, and have to meet my doom. But luckily, the lady in the movie didn't trip or fall down the stairs. Anyways, the woman, this courageous woman, I call her the courageous woman, had to find the light bulb, turn on the light, walk across the basement, to get to the closet, to open the door to see what on earth was making the sound of clicking teeth. I don't know, maybe the alien wore dentures, I don't know. But if you've ever been around people that have dentures that don't fit very well, they kind of clack, and they make a little weird sound, and that's how the alien in this movie sounded. This story is pretty scary. Okay, I'm not too sure if everything went down like I'm saying, because I had my eyes closed for most of the movie, especially that basement scene. And in the meanwhile, I was kicking my husband and holding on to my daughter in anticipation. But either way, it was scary for me. And when that door opened, after that very courageous lady opened the door, I'm sure something popped out and probably ate her. I don't know. I had my eyes closed, but it happens. Not the alien thing, but the scary stuff that pops out in our basement of our hearts. But let's go back in steps. The first thing that this courageous lady did was to open the door. The door to the basement. It's funny that these doors are either right under the stairwell of a home, probably if it has a second story, there's a door there, and you can see it most of the time when you enter the front door, the little hall there. You may find the door to the basement pretty close by. In other words, you can't miss it really. It's right there, pretty much in the open. And our heart's door is also like that. It's in plain sight. And although we know it's there, we don't want to open that door. We just walk on by. There's a song like that when I was a young girl, a long time ago. Every day we deal with these things that happen in our lives, and we do pretty good in handling those things. Normal stuff, schoolwork, put gas in the car, cooking, washing dishes, tending to our family, lawn care, cleaning, those things, and we got it pretty down packed good. But sometimes, however, really sad things happen, or really big mistakes happen, or someone does something mean or really bad to us that totally breaks us into tiny little pieces. Those are the things that we just can't get rid of. I mean, it's part of us, unfortunately, and it's not that easy. They sure do hurt us, and it's best to deposit the situation in one of those shelves that are located in the basement of our hearts. So we go down the stairs. If you picture yourself going down a stair with your broken pieces, the situation that happened that really has messed you up, has you really sad. I picture myself sometimes going down those stairs holding the situation in my hand and finding an area in my cluttered basement to see if there's an area in a shelf there that I can put yet again another situation there to lay in wait until I can deal with it. It could be an unfairness done to me. It could be so many things. You understand where I'm coming from. We all have that. Those damaged, broken pieces of our lives are left there. Sometimes with very little hope that maybe something good could happen one day. In the meanwhile, sometimes for a long while, we leave it there for safekeeping on those shelves that are set up in our hearts, in the basement of our heart. We climb up the stairs again, close the door, and go back to living, ignoring the door that is right there. We see it every day, but opening it up again is so painful. Best leave it closed. We reason to ourselves. It's best just to keep moving. Some of the things we go through are so very sad and terrible, so hurtful, so devastating that probably no one knows about it, and we definitely don't want to share it because of fear, shame, pride, or maybe because we feel our feelings won't be taken seriously. We may be ignored and forgotten. Perhaps you have lost a loved one, and it's all so hard to wake up in the morning. It's so hard to dry your tears while you're driving home from work as you suffer the loss of that loved one. Perhaps you made a really bad mistake, or perhaps more than one really bad mistake. I can vouch for that. And now you feel miserable because your family, your kids, your life is falling apart and they are hurting just as you are hurting. And you didn't intend for anybody to get hurt. It was just a wrong mistake. Maybe a close friend doesn't want to forgive you even when you said sorry. And worse yet, even when it wasn't even your fault. And they still don't want to forgive you. So many things in life, my precious ladies. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, a loss of trust, a lie gone bad. So many things. So what do we do then? You know, after all this, you kind of like feel like just locking yourself down in the basement and not coming out either. What do we do? I know from experience that there is great news. There is one who knocks at the door of your heart, and he actually wants to go down to the basement and check it out. You know who I'm talking about. His name is Jesus. There is nothing down there that he doesn't already know about, but he still wants you to open the door, to walk down the stairs and to turn on the light bulb for him to, yes, see all that's down there. One of my very dear friends texted me yesterday and told me that she just didn't know how people could live without Jesus. It's tough out there, ladies, and I'm sure you agree. So let's get back to the door. Picture this in your mind. Let's read Revelation 3:20 and picture this in your mind. The holy word of God says, Revelation 3:20, "Behold, I stand at the door, and I shall knock, and if a man, a woman, listens to my voice and will open the door, I also shall come in, and I shall have supper with him, and he with me," or she with me. This is so wonderful of Jesus. Not only does he want you to open the door of your heart, he wants to share life with you. Jesus stands at the door. He is not knocking, then running away, hoping you won't open, so that he doesn't have to deal with your messy basement. We used to do that when I was younger. We used to knock on people's house and run, and then they would open the door and there was nobody there. Well, Jesus doesn't do that. It says that he stands at the door of your heart, and he's knocking. He's waiting for your permission so that he can come in. He's not going to force himself in. He cannot help you. Now listen to what I'm going to tell you. Jesus cannot help you unless you let him help you. Okay? We need to give him access to that door that leads to the basement, that leads to the closet, that leads to the safe in our heart. And we're just at the door. There's going to be like a series, because we're just at the door. We haven't even gone into the safe that's inside the closet, that's inside the basement of our heart. So there's deep stuff, because we have deep stuff in our little safe, and we don't even remember the code to open up that safe. So so there's more to come. So let's go back. What was I telling you? Oh yeah, Jesus can't help you unless you let him help you. Next in that verse is the word if. If a man listens. You know, every time I hear the word if, it reminds me of the story of Cinderella and her stepmother. Cinderella had an opportunity to go to the ball, where she would later fall in love with the perfect guy. But first, she had to do so many chores that although she was hopeful, Cinderella wasn't sure she was going to be able to pull it off. Thank heavens for the mice that helped her. Remember her stepsisters? Well, they got their underwear in a knot, because if Cinderella were to go to the ball, their chances of meeting Prince Charming was going to be slim. He probably wouldn't even give them the time of day or the time of night, because they weren't too good looking like Cinderella. when the stepsisters complained to their mother. I don't know if you remember the movie, but if you ever watch it, when they complained to their mom, the mom, that mean old lady, said one word. She said, "if." And then the sister said, "Oh, if she does all the things on the list, she could go. If." So, what does that if mean for us in this verse? The if means that if a man listens to, or a woman listens to God's voice and will open the door, he can come in. He can do life with you. He can help you. He doesn't want you perfect. Look, we are never going to be perfect here in planet Earth. The only time we're going to be perfect is when we, like they say in Spanish, estira la pata, which that means when your leg has gone stiff and you are gone, and that's the end of your life, and now you're in God's presence. That's it. That's when we're going to become perfect in His image. In the meanwhile, we strive here on earth to live righteously, to live with integrity, and to do right by God. You know, we do that. But we have to listen to God, and we need to open the door. And this is not just a one-time opening the door, because we're always having situations. You may finish doing one thing in your basement and taking out something or repairing something, and then lo and behold, you got to go down that stair again and put something else in there, because that's just life, you know. But just because there's stuff there doesn't mean that we have to live there. We need to review what's on those shelves, and we're going to get to that in the other podcast. So if you are listening to God's voice, when you read the Word of God, or through a sermon, or through prayer time with Him, through a friend, and you open the door, He will come in. And He's not going to leave unless you want Him to, but He's not going to leave. Jesus is for you, not against you. He will help you, but you got to open the door. Not only that, He wants to have dinner with you. I don't know about you, but at my house, dinner time is when we talk as a family. At least we try a few nights a week, so that we can talk, so that we can pray, and we read a passage or a promise from the Lord. That's what God wants from us. He wants to have time to eat. We have this time at dinner as a family, and we have to do it on purpose. I have to put stickies to remind me we need to have Bible time, you know. And I tell my husband and my daughter, it's time, we have to have Bible time, because we haven't had it all week, and we can't be so busy that we can't have time. So I make sure that we try to at least have it once or twice a week, Bible time. And that's the time where we share. We're all doing the same thing, we're all in the same area, and we're looking at each other, and we're speaking. That's what God wants. He wants to have supper with you. Okay? I wanted to go over a story that has to do with dinner, and it's in the Bible. It's in 2 Samuel 9 verses 3 to 8. I'm sure you've probably heard this story, but in a nutshell, you all know that King David, his best friend was Jonathan, and Jonathan and Saul, his father, were killed in battle, and King David eventually took over as the king. And Jonathan had a family, and he had a son. And the only living survival member of Jonathan's family was his son, and his name is, oh Lord, it's kind of complicated. Mephibosheth was his. Say that 5 times straight. That was his son. And David was thinking upon Jonathan, and he asked his servant, is there anybody living from Jonathan's household, so that I can restore to them the land that belongs to them from their grandfather Saul? Is there anybody? And the servant told him that there was, and it was this young man named Mephibosheth. So David told him, go get him, bring him here. And they did. They brought him over, and this young man, David, told him, I'm going to give you everything that belonged to Jonathan. I'm going to give you your inheritance for you. And the young man, he goes, why you want to do this? Why do you want to bless me? I'm a dead dog. He felt really bad about himself because he was lame. I don't know if he wasn't able to walk. I don't know what situation happened that he had become lame, but he viewed himself as a dead dog. And David told him, no, you, my friend, you're going to be here with me, and you're going to eat at my table every day of the rest of your life. You will be eating at the table of the king. And that was a big deal. That's like if somebody, really important were to call you to supper, to dinner, and you're just a lay person. You're not, in the royal family or anything like that, and they invite you to eat and spend time with them. So this is what David did for this young man. And that's why sharing dinner with Jesus is of utmost importance. If you want to survive in your spiritual journey, which affects your daily life, your human life, you need to have dinner with the King of all kings that can give you what you need to withstand and prevail the situations that come in our lives. When I was younger, I grew up in church, and it seems that now, después de vieja, I'm learning deeper stuff. But it's because I've committed myself to learn deeper stuff, and to evaluate stuff and to teach whoever I can from messing up like I did, And we need Jesus. When I was younger, I thought that if I asked Jesus in my heart, I had him in my pocket and that was it. We were going to walk together and he was going to go wherever I wanted to go, and things were not going to touch me or hard times or at least not that bad, not to the point of losing a daughter and things like that. And it wasn't like that. The Bible says that the sun shines and the rain falls on everybody alike. Life is not fair. The important thing is who you're going to do life with. Who are you walking with in your journey? Are you walking alone? Are you walking with Jesus? Or are you walking with the enemy? So we need to feed ourselves and have supper with Jesus so that he can feed us and help us to maneuver. My precious ladies, I am having a wonderful time talking with you guys here. It has taken me weeks to finally sit down and get this going, and I really feel very blessed and thankful to the Lord to allow me to do just sharing life, just sharing life and encouraging you guys. Open the door and let Jesus go down the stairs of your heart's basement. Turn on the light and let him see the mess. It's then when you can start the sorting out and the clearing out. And it can happen. You'll be surprised. You may even find something of great value. Yesterday, I finally cleaned out my bedroom closet. I do it once a year. At least I try to do it once a year. But I have to get mentally ready for it because I know that there's a lot of stuff in there that I got to sort out, and things fall on me and hit me on the head and things like that. So I have to be prepared when I'm going to do my closet. I had to go through some very old items. For example, in my daughter's funeral many years ago, one of my co-workers gave me this beautiful basket. It had dark red live roses, and I've had that basket ever since. Of course, the roses died, and we replaced it with fake flowers. And we had the fake flowers in my mom's apartment for many years in that basket. And then my mom moved in with me, and now that basket has been in my closet for many years. And I wanted to get rid of the flowers, not to forget or try to get the memory out, because that will never happen. I just wanted to lighten up a little bit, in my closet and in my home, and it does good to clear out things. So what I did was that I took three of the fake flowers out, and I trashed the other flowers, and I cleaned the basket, and I'm gonna reuse the basket, probably to put some bathroom towels nicely rolled up in a little corner and of a bench or something, and give it a new life, and that was in the shelf in the basement of my heart. So I repurposed it, and I didn't get rid of all the flowers. I did save three of them, and I put it in a keepsake box that I have for my daughter. It was kind of hard to go through the old things, but um, the Lord helps me. I know where she's at. She's in His presence. I'm going to see her soon. The way things are nowadays, I think we're going to be seeing Jesus way sooner than what I thought. Later, I was still in the closet, and I came across another box. And when I opened it up, it was my dad's final belongings, his wallet. He had three little dollar bills in there, and a check, and just those little things that I saved, and it reminded me, believe it or not, that was a little bit harder for me than the flowers, because I used to see the flowers all the time, but I had forgotten what was really inside that little box for my dad. And it reminded me that, I know my dad wasn't the best of all dads. Maybe it would have been great if he would have given me quality time and reassurance. Would have been great, but it didn't happen. But he was still my dad. He's still my dad, and he loved me. And I found a card that he had written me for my birthday, and he drew a little heart with an arrow, and it just took my breath away. It was really pretty, and it was kind of hard. I had to close up the box and put it away. So that's probably still will always be in my heart, but it's not going to be in the basement. I'm going to bring it out, and where I can see it, and where I can remember, that he was my dad. And I hope to see him in heaven one day. I didn't throw anything away from the box, and it was hurtful, but God helped me through it, to look in that, not everything that's in the basement is to be thrown away. Okay, but that's going to be for the basement episode, because right now we're just in the door episode. Okay. Finally, I was still cleaning my closet, and a long time ago I was wondering where all the family films, back in the day, probably some of you weren't even born then. Back in the day, you would take video with a projector, with a camera. You would put a big roll of film, like old-fashioned film. I don't even know how to explain it. And then when you were done, you would get that film out of the camera, and then you would attach it to a projector, open up a screen, and play and see the video. So we have a whole box full of those, and I don't know, I couldn't remember for years where that box was. And in the back of my mind, way tucked away in the back of my mind, I knew that I was sad that I couldn't find it, because those are videos of me when I was a little girl, my sister's 15s, and my nephew's birth, and a lot of stuff, And lo and behold, cleaning out that closet, I opened up another keepsake box that I have, and there were all the films in there. And now I was so happy. to find it because I was worried that I had lost it somewhere, because sometimes I put things away for safekeeping and then you never see it again. Or I put it in the attic, and then when you take it out of the attic, it melted or something. So I was really happy that I had sense enough to put it in my room, in my closet. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes in the basement you may find something really pretty there that you can bring out, you know. Well, my precious ladies, I know it's hard to open up the door of your heart at times, and I know that many of you know Jesus and He was part of your life once for a long time. Maybe things went bad and you let Him go. You gotta come back. You gotta let Him work in you, and you need to open the door. I usually open my door at night before bed. When I review my day, my victories and my defeats, I am very open with Him. I don't sugarcoat anything. When you pray, when you open up your heart, it's quite liberating. I mean, nothing has changed when I open up and I share my heart, but at least I opened up and share my heart, and my heart is a little bit lighter. And He wants that from all of us. And I ask Him for His help, and I ask Him for His mercy, and every day He provides for me, and He will for you. Do that tonight. Pray tonight, and open the door. Even if it's just a little bit, open the door. Even if you're angry or you don't trust Him, that He's going to come through for you. He always comes through for you. Maybe not how we would want to, but He knows what's best. Oh, that's always been a challenge with me, and it's still a challenge with me. But open the door, even if it's a little bit, so that you can start today. Until next time, my precious ladies, I love you. I pray for you guys, and I hope that this first episode of Way Street was a blessing for you. It was for me. This is a message, a Bible time for me. I get blessed listening to my issues and how I overcame them with Jesus. So it was a good Bible time for me too. God bless you, and we'll meet again for episode 2 of the safe inside the closet, inside the basement of my heart. All right, girls. Big kiss. Bye-bye.